Hello, small settlers. It's time for a Halloween DIY. Here's a quick story. Last year, my friends invited me to a costume party, and I remembered about it only 3 days before Halloween. So, I decided to improvise and make at least a face mask. If you don't want to spend money on costumes or masks this year, you can DIY your own mask using just a paper bag, wire, polymer clay, primer, and acrylic paint. First, I took measurements of my head. In the video, I used an artificial human skull as an example, but it's always better to measure your actual head, as even things like a beard can affect the size of the mask. I created a wire armature. Again, don't forget to try it on your head before moving on to the next step. Once the armature was ready, I cut the paper bag into strips. I mixed PVA glue with water and glued the strips onto the armature. To make the mask sturdier, I wrapped the strips around the wires on the armature. After shaping the mask, I added details using polymer clay. I applied it in small parts because I find it easier to shape when using smaller pieces of clay. Polymer clay is soft, and if you use too much at once, it can be hard to sculpt. So, don't rush, take your time. It's actually quite a meditative process. Once the sculpting was finished, it was time to bake the polymer clay. I baked it in the oven at 150 to 180 degrees Celsius, about 300 to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, for 15 to 20 minutes. After the mask has cooled down, you can prime it. I used grey spray primer for miniatures. It's the quickest way, and it ensures an even coat. For painting, I used an airbrush, but you can also use a medium-sized brush. Just be patient, careful, and apply thin layers of paint. I recommend finishing your mask with matte varnish. Spray varnish is the easiest option. The mask I made in the video wasn't varnished, and after a hot summer, the paint started to fade. The final step is to attach a rubber band for the mask. I bought a simple rubber band from a fabric store and used a black ribbon I had at home, stitching them together. I also lined the inside of the mask with wound tape to prevent sweating and make it more comfortable to wear. And here's the final look. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please support the channel with a like and subscription, and feel free to share it with others. Also, check out my other videos on DIY and sculpting. See you next week.